saw the movie Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman. Courtney Love played Lynn Margulies in that movie, and that was a fantastic interview. So yeah, I've got about five episodes now on the YouTube on this channel.
And the Andy Kaufman mystery, is Andy alive? Is he dead? Is neither? Is he both? That continues on in great deal because of John's show.
You know, it's funny. I thought she was going to sit there and be like definitively that, no, he's dead. I was there because that's been the story. But boy, she added fuel onto the speculation fire a couple times, and there's a moment at 57 minutes in, right towards the end, where was there a lag in the sound so she didn't hear where I was going with the statement, or did she just subconsciously blurt out, but he's alive? Because if you catch that, I'm surprised not a lot of people have picked up on that little moment. You check that out. But boy, she's so wonderful and gracious and still plays the game. I mean, that was, like she said, it's all wrestling. And is the Andy alive or dead? It is part of the game. It's part of the wrestling. And again, I live in the 80-20 world. 80%, yeah, he died in 1984. 20%. It's fun to play around with, and there is a chance. There's always a chance. You got to believe the impossible.
And that's another connection we all have together. Tim Beckley and now Tim Schwartz, they used to put out the Conspiracy Journal. And Andy Kaufman's story and continued adventures in this world that he supposedly left, those are worthy of any conspiracy theory I've heard to date. So I'm glad that plays out in your show on Mount Olympus, because Mount Olympus is proud of you in the process.
Oh, I thank you. I am proud to be a part of Mount Olympus Podcast Network. It has been a wonderful addition to my life, and the chance to get to talk to people, friends, strangers, and just kind of get out there and say my little 2 cents,
Well, it's always welcome, and today is kind of like a revisit to the early days of your show, and we're going to be returning to exploring the pantheons in popular culture. Now, I'm Greek, as everybody who knows me knows, and I have a mythical name, and I'm attracted to all things that are mythically related in popular culture, as well as scholarship, as well as film, you name it. If it has Greek mythology playing out in it, I'm a big fan of it, and I'll watch it, and I'll absorb it, and learn from it, and talk about it. So, the Olympian pantheon came into Marvel Comics pretty early on. Before it was Marvel, there was like Venus, I think, was in it, and Mercury was in it. They had some gods from Olympus playing out in the larger universe. But it wasn't until Jack Kirby brought Hercules into the Thor comic, his Journey into Mystery, that Olympus entered the Marvel comic book universe.
1965.
Yes, and Hercules has been part of it ever since. I was 6 years old in 1965, so that's when I became aware of this. And my father liked comic books, so it wasn't a big deal for me to be reading comic books. And my mother was very much into the Greek culture, so I had Hercules. How more Greek can you get, than the Hercules book? And there's Zeus, and there's Hermes, and there's Aphrodite. So that was a very big part of my growing up. And I like different interpretations of the Greek gods in different places, and we'll be looking at all of them again. Before we focus specifically on Hercules and Marvel, though, I'd like to hear your impression of Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is one of those rare individuals that dreamed pantheons into being. So not only did he take Norse mythology, Greek mythology, and other mythologies that existed already and translate them into his own special versions of these heavens, the homes of his pantheons, but he gave birth to the new gods, he gave birth to the forever people, he gave birth to the Eternals. And my personal favorite is the Eternals, which is a minority, but still, he took the old archetypes, stripped them to the bone, and gave birth to them in new guises for a new age. And those individuals are very rare indeed, especially since he could have started a cult, I imagine. That doesn't seem to have entered his mind at any point in time. So I guess we'll start with Paul.
Oh, good. Jack Kirby, what a legend. And a lot of people look at him as a forgotten legend. And the reason why is because it seemed like Stan Lee was taking all the credit. And Jack Kirby was getting very upset because he wasn't getting the credit that he deserved. And he did. He came up with and they said he had extensive knowledge of Greek mythology, Norse mythology, and Stan Lee had little knowledge. But yet, Stan Lee was the face of Marvel, and he was getting all this good credit, and he was becoming rich. Jack Kirby, he was having financial problems, and he became bitter. I mean, you're looking at Jack Kirby, who created the Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, Ben Grimm, Silver Surfer, Black Panther, and then he goes over to DC. He does Commandy, he does New Gods, Forever People, Etrigan the Demon, and Mr. Miracle. In fact, Mr. Miracle issue number 4 was my very first letter published as a little boy.
All right.
And that, from there, I became this notorious letter hack. Yeah, Jack Kirby deserved a lot more than what he got. And so, him leaving Marvel and going over to DC, and I'm glad that DC allowed him to create all these new characters, like the New Gods and everything, because I was Big Barda. Oh my God, I love that. And yeah, Jack Kirby got the short end of the stick. I mean, I love Stan Lee. I met Stan Lee. One of my newsletters, the People's Comic Book Newsletter, we did a Stan Lee tribute issue. And we made a nice, beautiful plaque for Stan Lee. And we went to the 1997 San Diego Comic Con. And we met Stan Lee, and we presented him with the plaque and the newsletter. And he looked at it and he goes, "What did I do to deserve this?" Which was very humble. I mean, I said, "Oh, Stan, we love you, man. You know, if you were a woman, I'd give you a kiss on the mouth." But, but no, Stan Lee is a great guy, but it's just sad that he had that rift with Jack Kirby, because those two really were a great team when they were working together.
Thank you very much. John, do you have anything you want to add to?
Oh boy, do I. Really quick, just to touch on Stan. I've always said about Stan, no one has done more in their career to both help and harm the comics industry as Stan Lee. And yes, as Marvel's pitchman in the 70s, it was a role he had to take on, and that continued well up until